Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Sitting Courtside, episode 45. Shout out Donovan Mitchell. Like always, my name is Dante.
It's your boy Jerry D.
And we are still in the middle of the NBA offseason. We have some new signings that we are going to go over. We got Olympic sports, Olympic basketball coming up in the next few weeks. So for the first time, we'll be touching on that. Finally, I know. So we'll be touching on that, kind of who's on the roster, who made the cut, who didn't, kind of give our thoughts and opinions there, as well as some other little news that we will get towards the end. But before we get into all that, please make sure to like, subscribe if you are on YouTube. Check out the shorts, gamified content here as well. If you're an audio-only listener, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating, review, all that good stuff. Follow us on all social media platforms. Look us up. We are there. And that's all I really got. Jerry, welcome. I say, I usually ask how you are, but there's just, I feel like right now with the talks that we have to jump right into it. We are,
Absolutely.
kind of fresh off some Team USA news and stuff. So let's just jump into that talk. So as of today, it is July 10th. We thought we had the final roster set, but Kawhi Leonard withdrew himself from Team USA, getting replaced by NBA champion Derek White. So as of right now, I'm going to put out list the roster, players on the team. So as it stands right now, this is going to be the roster going into the Olympics. We'll see if more players back out, get added, whatever. But we have Bam Adebayo, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, and Derek White. So that is the 12-man roster right now. Just kind of want to get your thoughts, Sherry, on your overall thoughts on the roster. If there are some players that you feel like are being left off this roster that you feel like deserve to be here over some other guys, some guys on this roster that you don't think belong here. I know this is a group of 12 of the greatest American players in the NBA, but there might be a few names missing out. So just give me your overall thoughts on this roster, what you expect from them, and yeah.
I mean, just to really kick it off expectations. I mean, being on American soil over here, we expect nothing else but the gold.
Gold medal or bust. That's what it is. Every
pretty
single
much
time.
how it works, right? We're the best basketball team. We have the best league in the world in the NBA.
Absolutely.
All these European players, the African players, everybody wants to play here in the NBA in the States, but you gotta put on for the country and defend it. But in terms of the roster, man, I think it's pretty good. I mean, I'm not super excited or happy about what the front court depth looks like.
It ain't no dream team.
Nah, definitely no. It's not even the redeem team. It's not the 08. It's not the 2012. Team. I think it's better than the 2020 team, the Tokyo Olympics team. I could say that, or the 2016 squad, maybe. Just because, it's a 40-year-old LeBron. I get it, but he was literally voted by his peers as the best player on the floor.
He did, yes.
It's kind of insane, but Steph Curry, KD, I think this is their last hoorah, their last look at, hey, man, we were the 2010s legends. We bled into the 2020s a little bit, did what we had to do. So there's a really big nostalgia feel, but there's also a lot of bright spots or flashlights on certain players. And I'll name them, in Tyrese Halliburton kind of like being a question mark for me, where I think Kyrie Irving's better than Tyrese Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I think if Jaylen Brunson's hand wasn't busted, he should have been selected.
I think he could have been on here too.
Over Tyrese Halliburton. So it's a little odd to me that he made it. Not saying that he's not deserving. Again, you mentioned these are 12 of the best players that we have to offer, but a guy like Donovan Mitchell, maybe a guy like Paolo Banchero, who probably should have been named as the replacement for Kawhi Leonard, but he goes to a guy like Derek White.
Yeah, replacing a forward with a guard. I love Derek White. Believe me, I'm still repping the Celtics championship squad here, as I should. But I feel like there's a few guys that could have been listed over him, especially another Celtic,
Jaylen
Brown. That's another guy that could have been added here. Yeah, we had a conversation a little bit before we started of kind of like what goes into selecting the roster, whether it's like goes into politics, whether it's players just simply don't put their name in the pool, of guys that can qualify for the Olympics, whatever it may be. right before this, like earlier in the day, Jaylen Brown kind of put out a cryptic like
Yeah.
three emoji tweet where it was like him with the eyeglass thing, and people are saying that it's three emojis for the three Celtics that they picked over him for the Team USA roster, whatever. Um, Makes me think of someone like him. Was he left off the roster on purpose? Did he not put his name in the pool to make the roster? Like, I don't know what goes into all that stuff, but as good as this roster is, I feel like it could have been better. Not to say that I don't think this team can win gold. I absolutely do. I think that they purposely put together KD, LeBron, all these guys came together for a reason. They were upset. I think it was 2022 or 23. They came up short. I forget what year it was. And then I think it was last year actually.
Yep.
And they were like, all right, like enough of this. Like when the Olympics come around, we're gonna show everyone why USA is the best, and that's what we're seeing. But it is kind of weird to see, some big names left off, like you mentioned, Kyrie, Jalen Brunson being hurt, and all that. Jaylen Brown, even someone like Jimmy Butler, even like a Zion Williamson, Paulo Banchero. Like there's a few big names that kind of got left off. They could have been on there for sure.
And not to besmirch Derek White's name here. I think he's a great role player, which is why ultimately Team USA decided to scoop him up over probably
It's
some of
about
these bigger
fit.
names.
It's about
Yeah,
fit here, right? Derek White
that's all I can really
isn't going to be asked to be one of their top scorers. He's just there to fill a role, to fit a role, and I'm sure he's going to do that.
We know that along with the masses, but also think about the dream team that had Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Carmelo, and Charles Barkley. All those guys are number one options on their team, but they know for the
100%.
greater good of the country and the team that they're all going to play a certain role. Hey, Mike's the guy.
They put their egos to the side. Right.
Exactly. Carmelo Anthony, one of the probably you could call him the best Olympian for USA basketball ever. Knew his role, was a corner 3-point specialist to some degree. But let's not act like he couldn't go out and get his own, even though he could do that every single possession. That's not what it's about.
100%.
It's about winning gold. They know what it takes. But you mean to tell me Jaylen Brown wouldn't? You mean to tell me that Paulo Banchero wouldn't? Like, these guys would definitely fall in line behind LeBron, Steph, and KD and kind of let them do their thing. But, hey, if you need me to, I'll be there to do it. So I'm a little lost.
This isn't a situation or a team where guys would come in and ego check everyone and being like, I'm not going to buy into this. I'm not going to be doing this and that. Playing the Olympics, playing for your home country is a lot different than being back at home and playing for your team or whatever. Like we see that happen a lot on NBA teams. Egos get in the way. Guys want to do this. They want to lead, whatever. That doesn't happen in Olympic basketball. Again, like you mentioned, Michael Jordan, there might be exceptions where it's like Michael Jordan in 92 was head and shoulders the best player in the NBA, right? And it's like, okay, that's justified. He proved himself in those scrimmages. We've heard all the stories, whatever. But in most cases, it's just all these guys come together for the greater good, you can say, to win an Olympic medal. That's the ultimate goal. Everyone's there to do the same thing and not to let their country down. So, and I don't think they will. I think they'll still win gold. It is just interesting to see, some people being left off.
For sure. No, I don't get it.
We mentioned that. Let's talk about who we think on this roster, of this 12-man roster, who the best player is, who we think the number one scoring option should be, and also kind of giving our starting five, who we think could be starting in the Olympics. I can go first because I kind of have it written down here. I think the best player on the team, this might be, there's so many great players, so it's like you could have, everyone has their different reasoning for who they think is the best, whatever. I think on paper, Joel Embiid is the best player on
yes,
Team
we're on the same wavelength. I was like,
I mean, like, what I wanted, obviously LeBron got voted best player by his teammates and stuff, of course, but at the end of the day, he's 40 years old, so that plays into a part of it. Kevin Durant, I think, has a great argument as well. All-time leading scorer for Olympic basketball for Team USA, but he has a little calf injury right now. So how is that going to translate to the games? Is he going to be, is he going to be the one to take charge, be the leading scorer and whatnot? But I think Joel Embiid, healthy, could be the best player in the NBA when he's healthy. And he seems healthy for Team USA. I don't I think he's going to steamroll everyone that's going to be put in front of him. There might be a few guys like Nikola Jokic, some other NBA big foreigners that he'll have good matchups with, but I
He'll
think
get his
Joel
30.
Embiid.
He can
I
get
think he'll still give someone Jokic some. He'll give him the work. So I believe Embiid is the best player. Number one scoring option. I mean, you could say Embiid after everything I just said. I think he is someone that could be the leading scorer for this team. I do think it is going to end up being someone like Kevin Durant just because he can score in so many different ways. Perimeter, mid, in the paint. I think he can just do a little bit of everything. And also, we saw the picture. I'm sure you saw the picture of the entire team lined up. And it's like, I see this everywhere. Kevin Durant standing next to the set. Kevin Durant keeps getting taller. As I've gotten older, he just keeps getting taller. Like, it's insane to me. He's almost the same height as Embiid. I'm gonna say Kevin Durant's gonna be the number one scoring option, but it's not like he's gonna go in there and try to put up his normal averages. The numbers are brought down a lot. They're watered down, so it could be a few guys putting up the same numbers in that case.
Yeah.
And for starting five, I'm gonna say, because this one's tough too, because you're trying to put together a five that is about fit, best players available, all that stuff. I'm gonna go with Steph Curry, Devin Booker, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Joel Embiid. I think that should be the starting five, and that hurts me because I do think someone like Tatum should have, could have a starting spot. Maybe if they want to run big, they can take out Booker and put in Tatum. If they want to do like a 3 forward situation, but I think ultimately that is going to be the starting five. But they could play around with a few different lineups and see what they ultimately go with. But to me, that's what I think should be the starting five.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think, again, I would second your motion of the best player on the team being Joel Embiid. I think that's the guy. That's the premier player of the league. He's a former MVP, the most recent one, might we add, on that Team USA roster.
Yep.
So I think it goes without saying, like in terms of who's the most dominant and who's the best. I'm going to give it to Joel. I'm going to give it to the big fella. Number one scoring option is interesting, though. I mean, we mentioned this for the 92 on all the other Olympic teams, right? It's a bunch of number one scoring options being put onto one cohesive roster. But I think I'm going to give it to Steph. I think KD, really just for the sake of being different. Steve Kerr's the head coach, so Steve Kerr knows how to use both KD and Steph.
Yes,
so
he does.
There's going to be a lot of, I already seen some, some of these real nerd type of breakdowns where they're talking about the type of sets that are being ran in Team USA already is Golden State sets. They're just putting everybody else on game. So it's going to be a lot of off-ball things, a lot of great things. And who's the best off-ball player of all time, arguably? Steph Curry. Plus, you have one of probably, if not the best passer in NBA history, and LeBron James, who's probably really going to be playing more on the ball than anyway, and let Steph kind of just do his thing. Like, this is going to be so fun to watch.
It will be fun to watch.
With those two, because LeBron is probably the best passer in the NBA today with the best off ball. Oh my God, this is going to be great. Get me excited, man. That is great basketball. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. So I'm going to pick Steph there. Starting lineup? It's kind of tough. I think I'll run Steph at the 1 as well. I will put Anthony Edwards in instead of D-Book.
Do you see his quote? He was like, "Everyone has to play around me, adjust to playing around me, or something like that."
Yeah, nah, it's not even. To me, Anthony Edwards can come in and play the similar type of role that D Wade did for those Olympic teams. So you could put him off the ball, you can put him on the ball, you could run him at the 1 if you need to. Anthony Edwards could be that X factor player. I was really torn between either him or Drew Holiday, but I'm gonna give the nod to Ant so I can bring Drew off the bench. Since
shout out Drew Holiday.
Small forward is obviously it's gonna be Bron for me. We'll run KD at the 4, and then I'll bring the big fella Joel Embiid to run up at the 5. I'm thinking versatility. I'm thinking outside of Steph, everybody's a pretty solid defender. KD's one of the best help side defenders with the right scheme and structure. You have a shot blocker in Embiid. KD can also block shots. LeBron, I don't know what you are defensively right now, but Anthony Edwards.
He'll make it work.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. I like that.
Man, yeah. Yeah, this team's gonna kick ass in the Olympics. This team is
It's good.
gonna steamroll. Is gonna steamroll some countries here. No disrespect to them, but Team USA, maybe it's always us, gold or bust.
Even if they want to play big, just think about running AD at the 4 and then have him
Yeah,
beat at the 5 or something like that.
100%. Yeah, you
You
could do
can
LeBron,
downsize it.
Tatum, Durant,
Yeah,
Davis,
yeah.
Embiid.
You
A
can downsize
lineup
it.
of all guys 6'8", 6'9", or higher, crazy. They have so many different options, so many different schemes they could run, so many different matchups. It's yeah, no, this is gonna be a fun team to watch. So yeah, Olympics start when I think the Olympics start in a little over 2 weeks.
It's in 2 weeks, but group play, like the exhibition games, USA kicks off tonight against Canada on July 10th. This will come out a
Okay.
little later, but
Yeah, so the Olympics officially start on July 26th. They end August 11th. So we
we're
are
creeping
two
up.
weeks, a little over 2 weeks away. Yeah, just creeping up. So keep an eye on that. We'll talk more about it as time goes on. Keep you guys updated with the exhibition games when the games actually start and all that. So yeah, there's our little first Team USA talk of the podcast. So let's move away from Team USA. Let's move on to some more free agency news. A big signing or signing and trade, I guess we can say, that happened over the last week. DeMar DeRozan finally gets his ass out of Chicago, and now he brought his ass over to Sacramento, signing a 3-year deal. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think it was like a 3-year, $70 million deal, something along those lines.
Thanks to
With the third year being partially guaranteed, um, and I think the Kings just sent back 2 second-round picks to get him.
what a
So
joke.
pretty pretty good trade for the Kings, if you ask me. Just getting basically getting a third star, you can say, to put next to De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. I kind of want to get your thoughts on the fit, what you think of him going to Sacramento, because they run a lot. De'Aaron Fox being one of the quicker plays in the NBA, Sabonis being a triple double monster, leading the league in triple doubles last year. They have Malik Monk, Kevin Horter. They have other guys that they have that they're bringing back from last year. They got rid of Harrison Barnes, but DeMar DeRozan sliding in now. Where do you see them finishing out west? Obviously, last year they took a dip from the 3 seed they were at the year prior. Do you think that this team can make some noise in the West with DeMar DeRozan there now? We know how great DeMar DeRozan is with scoring and everything, but is this partnership going to work out? I don't. I'm not too confident in it, but I'm curious to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I mean, we call the West the Wild Wild West for a reason, right? But
Yeah,
I think the funniest part about it is, even though they didn't make the playoffs last year, they made the play-in tournament and lost out.
yeah,
They only had like they won 3 or 4 less games than
than
they
the year
did
prior.
the year
Right.
prior, and they were a 3 seed last year.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh wow, you would have thought that they won 39 games, or no, they still won 40 plus games or 43
Yeah.
games.
Yeah. They
Don't have
won.
it in
They
front of
won.
me.
They won 46 and 36, and they were the 9 seed.
So it
That's
just goes to
that's
show how
crazy.
crazy things are. Yeah, but at the same time, I think they're going to take a step up to where they might be able to squeak into the postseason. Not
Yeah.
entirely too sure, but one of Sacramento's issues last year was a lack of a perimeter scorer outside of D Fox and Malik Monk, who's another guy that can kind of get it done. If the ball goes down to Sabonis, you can kind of trap, you can kind of move around, or you'll probably live with him going one-on-one with another capable defender. It's kind of like whatever.
100%.
So you add in another perimeter guy. You remember a couple years back, he was on that Wilt Chamberlain 30 plus night, blah, 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 like for like 6 nights in a row, whatever it
Yeah.
was. So DeMar can definitely score with the best of them. And he could
He's a pure
obviously,
scorer, baby. He can still
yeah,
go.
he could definitely operate on his own. He could run an offense on his own, but these are probably going to be the best players that he's played with, which is kind of weird to say, but I guess it just kind of goes to show how his career has gone. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm
weird.
just like looking at the Kings and I'm looking at the Western Conference standings. Like, I don't think the
Crazy, man.
Kings are better than the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Mavericks, the Suns. The
They're probably a
Pelicans,
playing team again.
I think they are. I mean, I just listed 5 teams, and then I didn't mention the Clippers because I don't know what's going to happen with them. If
Oh, think
Kawhi can,
about this though: the Grizzlies getting Ja
the
Morant back.
Grizzlies are going to get John Morant back. The Spurs might take a step up with Chris Paul, another year of Wemby. The Rockets might be. The Rockets just miss out on the play-in. They could be up there. The Golden State Warriors, if they make, maybe they get Markkanen, maybe that kind of brings them back into the mix. The Pelicans,
Yeah.
who were they were 1 win away from 50 wins last year, and they were only the 8th seed. Didn't even mention the Lakers. There's a lot of good teams out west. I just don't know if this roster is good enough for them to make any sort of noise out there.
I think we kind of got to put it upon some of the other young players that they do have. They traded away Davion Mitchell, so that's not really a thing anymore. But Keegan Murray is a guy that's been made
take a step up
in trade deals, right? Yeah, so
right.
Let's see, because the starting lineup off the top of my head will probably be Fox, Herter, DeRozan at the 3, Sabonis, or I don't know who their 4 and 5. Who's going to be where? But Keegan Murray's probably going to be.
You could do Keegan and Sabonis.
Yeah,
you honestly could do that.
Let's see what type of step he takes, because I was expecting him to kind of end up like a Michael Porter Jr. Can probably give you 18 plus, but kind of took a step back to me last year. So
yeah,
kind of depends on him. I think it's kind of contingent upon him.
At 34 years old, DeRozan had his 4th highest scoring season in his career, and it was only half a point below last year, for 3rd. So, I mean, listen, DeRozan's going to add scoring. This is a very fast-paced offense. I think DeRozan could thrive in this offense. I think he could I think he can benefit a ton playing next to guys like Fox, Sabonis being the triple-double king, the new titled triple-double king in the NBA. I think there's going to be enough spacing where he can get, he can, like you said,
he can operate.
He can operate on his own. He can lead an offense on his own. I just don't know if that's the move. It's a good move. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if it's the move that's going to take them from here to here. Just consider maybe if they were in the Eastern Conference, maybe it could be a team that makes some noise in the playoffs. But in the West, there's just too many good teams out west. I don't know if they even make it past the play-in.
But I think we also kind of got to see like how things shape up, because we didn't even mention Dallas in this conversation, who just played in the NBA Finals more recently than any of these Western Conference teams. Just look at the matchups that they drew. Getting the Clippers in the first round, they squeak by them. They squeak by OKC in the second. They get to Minnesota, get by them. Everything kind of played in their favor. Now, who knows? Like, the Kings could very well be the healthiest team. It's a battle of attrition, right? At the end of the year, maybe they find a way to get it done. Would I actually bet my house on that? Hell no, but
I wouldn't. But anything's possible in the NBA. Hey, maybe it is an actual match made in heaven, and maybe it's just like the perfect fit, and maybe that is their missing piece. And then
I think they'll be a tough team. I can give them that. I think they'll be
good. I think they're going to be just as good as they were last year. I think they could be a 50-win team next year. But 50 wins doesn't necessarily doesn't lock you in for the playoffs, unfortunately. And once you're in the play-in, it's single game. So who knows what could happen.
Time will tell.
Yeah, well, time will tell. Time will tell. Good move on their end. I mean, listen, when you get to go from Harrison Barnes to DeMar DeRozan, you're better.
Hey, this is crazy.
No disrespect to Harrison Barnes. No disrespect, but it's just the truth. It's just the truth. So yeah, we'll see it. We'll see how.
Shout out to San Antonio for getting a good bit.
Shout out to Harrison Barnes, NBA champ, newest member of the San Antonio Spurs. He can contribute to them making a push to the play-in next year. So we'll see.
We'll love it there, Wemby. Wemby's gonna love him there.
All right. So the last bit of news that we have here, just a little fun thing to add. Jason Tatum and why can't I think of
A'ja Wilson?
A'ja Wilson, exactly. Both NBA 2K cover athletes, regular edition. There's like 4 different editions. It's regular edition, WNBA edition, deluxe edition maybe, or whatever it is.
I think it's Legend edition.
Or Legends.
on the
Vince
Legends. Yeah.
Carter's on the Legends, but then there's one. It might be Deluxe that has Tatum and Wilson.
Yeah.
Because 2K. Listen, I'm not just in case we get a 2K sponsorship one day. I'm going to watch what I say here, but they put out too many editions of the game. Just make like 2 games, like one standard one, and then one where you have all the bonus shit. We don't need 3 different. We don't need 3 different games here. You make it too confusing. I get it. Trying to milk it
Sound like an
out,
old
trying
man.
to get Jerry, and I'm sick that it's the same game every year. It's just copy and paste every year. I just want to have a really good basketball game. Maybe it will be this year. I don't know. But yeah, Jason Tatum, Wilson making the covers. Well deserved. I mean, I think that it's like, I mean, obviously I'm a Celtics fan, so I'm going to be happy Tatum made the cover. But I think it makes sense. I like just won the NBA championship, kind of ascending to being, you know, top 5 player, borderline top 5 player. I think it makes sense. I think the cover looks good. He's wearing the new Tatum threes that haven't been released yet, so that's kind of something, a little Easter egg in there too. But yeah, no, I think they did a good job. And the Vince Carter cover is sick.
That's
I
fine.
think that's the best cover. That's the best cover I think they put out in a while. That's a really
It's
good
like
one.
the honey dip dunk remind me of the little liquid
Yeah,
gold, like Hall of Fame immortalized.
yeah.
That's the kind of vibe I'm getting. But
Oh
now I'm
yeah,
right there with you.
100%.
I'm right there with you, man. Tatum, well deserved. You know, like who needs a Finals MVP? You got to be a 2K cover athlete.
People are
Nah,
saying Jaylen Brown is. People are saying Jaylen Brown got his Olympic roster spot taken and the 2K cover taken from him.
man. Like with all due respect to Jaylen Brown, he's one of the faces, but he's not the face of the Boston Celtics. Like regardless of how anybody
That
feels.
cover was also has also probably been in the works for like the last
Yeah,
6 months. So
absolutely.
it's not like they
Like,
just decided this like last week. Like they've had this in
no.
the works for a while.
And like, you know, for what it's worth too, for everybody that is killing Tatum or that is in shambles about him being selected, he's the 4th guy in NBA Finals history or playoff history, rather, to average, you know, or have the most points, rebounds, and assists for his team. Like, just kind of let that sink in that Tatum was hooping during the postseason. Eastern Conference Finals, a little sketchy, sure. The NBA Finals, a little rough, sure, but he still led them in every major statistical category. So
Right.
he did his part. He earned that championship. He earned the 2K cover, and hell, he's going to earn an Olympic gold medal this year. One hell of a resume. So I
Hey
like it,
man,
man. Even A'ja Wilson.
the
I see
way
other
you're
people.
talking, we clip off that one that people are gonna say that you're a Celtics fan.
I don't give. Hey, man, I'm a fan of the game. I don't give a shit what
I'll have to
anybody
send you. I'll
says.
send you a shirt to wear next week.
I don't know about all that.
Send me your PO
I'm
box.
putting a big ass Lakers sticker on it. But anyway, you know, shout out to
Anyway,
A'ja Wilson, man. Like
yeah.
she deserves it. Everybody's saying, oh, they messed up by not putting Caitlin Clark on there. Caitlin Clark's not
No,
the best player in the league.
AJ Wilson is the best player in
A'ja
the league
Wilson.
by a mile,
So
head
like,
and
you know,
shoulders. Not even close. Caitlin Clark, I am sure when her time comes,
she'll have her.
she'll be on
She'll have her.
plenty of covers. I'm sure of that. But for now, I think AJ Wilson is.
Nah, hell yeah, man. I like, you know, I don't even know if she's a top 10 player in the league yet. Like, I
Yeah,
gotta.
she didn't even make the Team USA roster for women either. So, and
She
people will
was an
have their
all-star though.
debate there, but she was an all
She is an
star.
all-star.
I think she did. She lead in voting. Well, her and Wilson, I think, were number 1 and 2. I don't know who was if one was ahead of the other.
Caitlin Clark had more votes than A'ja Wilson.
All right,
It's a
yeah,
popularity contest though.
it is a popularity contest at the end of the day. So, but yeah, that's NBA 2K covers. That's all I really have here on the rundown, Jerry. We're at 28 minutes here. Do you have something you want to add before we sign off here? Kind of a shorter episode, but you know we're hitting
Yeah.
the big things here, big hitters.
Yeah, I
What do you have?
absolutely do have something to say, man. I am disgusted.
I'm happy you asked because I actually do have a lot of things to say.
I'm just really disgusted because I don't know what the Detroit Pistons plan is. Like
Oh,
signing Tobias Harris,
oh,
signing Tim Hardaway Jr. I think they just got. Did they get Alec Burks? I don't know. Like they're getting veteran players, and I guess I really shouldn't be a hater because they're trying to put some veteran guys on the roster around their young guys. So maybe it's like, hey, no, we think we could compete.
wait a minute.
I, I really don't know what to think about what they're doing though. Like Tobias Harris was in Detroit once upon a time. He's already played there. Probably knows the city.
It
He comes back,
does.
but I'm just really lost because he could have contributed. I would have liked to see him in the Spurs. I think that would have been another
Sure.
smooth pickup for them to make. No, I'm not high on Tobias Harris, given like his last few years in Philly, I think have been ineffective. But in a right situation, alongside Wemby in San Antonio with CP, I think that would have been a nice fit. I don't know what teams actually tried to reach out to him, but apparently he had suitors in the Spurs, Utah, and a couple other teams. He went to
Hey
Detroit.
man, if you find a team that's willing to give you $26 million, I'm
Yeah,
curious what those other teams are offering. But hey, if you're gonna get $26 million, you got you gotta live in Detroit, and you're not gonna win shit, but you're still making $26 million. I think that's
man,
probably what it came
I
down
hope
to.
that he's able to provide some type of guidance from them young cats because I just don't get what Detroit's doing. That's one of the worst front offices in the league.
You know what they should do, and this is going to segue into what I wanted to add here
Talk
is
to me.
they should, and they've been doing this a lot. They've been really good at this the last few years, but not getting the pick to show for it. They need a tank for Cooper for Cooper Flag. My God, that guy is going to be. He's really good. It's really good. If you're not too familiar with his game, I'd watch some of the Team USA scrimmages, the select team
He looked
scrimmages,
good.
because he is looking fantastic, and he is getting a lot of high praise from NBA players. He committed to Duke. He'll be playing there next year. But man, Cooper Flag is going to be a hot commodity. He is going to make a lot of teams want to lose games this year. If you're the Trailblazers,
The Nets.
potentially the Jazz. Hey, I mean, you want to stay competitive. I was going to say the Spurs, but they want to stay competitive. The
I want him
Pistons,
to go to
the
Brooklyn.
Wizards, the Hornets. I got you. The Nets, and hell, maybe even the Hawks if you get Trae Young out of there. And hell, the Bulls too, because they are sure as hell not going to be the 9 seed next year, like they were this past year. Those teams should have Cooper Flag on their radar, and tanking for Flag is going to come is going to start very early this
Oh,
season,
you
I
know
think.
what? Somebody needs to make a new trend. The tank flag. Just have like, a flag with the tank. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
You,
yeah,
you see
yeah.
the vision?
Yeah, I see it. Listen, I think a few of these teams have to see the vision as well, because he is, again, he's really good. And I think he can contribute to a lot of teams, these teams that have all these picks and trying to, gain some structure, trying to add to what they have going, or just find that cornerstone piece. This could be the one. So that's what I have to add. So I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about him over the next year, but just want to get everyone's feet wet here to get ready for Cooper Flag, because he's coming. He's coming, that's for sure. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say, Jerry. I think that's all you got too. So
I'm
I
good.
think this is our time to sign off. Like I said before, if you guys are on YouTube, watching here on YouTube, please make sure to like, subscribe, check out our shorts content, gamified content, as well. If you are a podcast audio only listener, give us a 5-star rating, review, all that good stuff. It helps us out a ton. We appreciate your support. Of course, like always, follow along for these podcast episodes, some other long form videos that you will see that are cut from the podcast. If you just want to watch those segments, if you want to, some longer form gamified content, that's, what you'd find in the shorts, but a little unedited, uncut version. So you can keep your eye out for that. And until the next time, episode 46, peace out.